How am I going to open this one? Okay, no, it's fine. We don't need to actually open this. So I want us to actually do. I actually want us to do 2024. I'll zoom in. Test 1, 2024. Which, as some of you might have noticed, is your. So if you're actually writing down and paying attention today, okay, when do I see you next? Tomorrow, right? Okay, so please, can we attempt for I start? Yeah, when we go through it together tomorrow, then obviously highlight. So that doesn't make sense. We can figure out what actually is going on. And if I see you on Wednesday, I start. So there's only one. I start, which you are pretty much doing by yourself. When are they? No, they're not going to be with me. They're going to be with my colleague. What's the name? Paul. Haven't you already had one? Yeah, with him. Yeah. I think you've already had one. I'm assisting the BCom law students. Yeah. So yeah. Start with question 1. Question 1 is too easy. Let's go to question 2. Question 2. Okay. So let's see. What are they asking us over there? If we go to the required, it says, for the two differences noted below, state in your own answer booklet whether the difference is either an awareness difference or an error. What type of awareness differences do we get? Yes, sir. Say again. Direct deposit. You're giving me an example, but I mean the types. I want the types. Timing difference, and the other one is adjustment difference. When is the issue from the bank side? Adjustment difference. Timing difference is when we've recorded it and the bank hasn't. Okay. So let's see what they're asking here. You may only note one option. If you indicate both options for an error, no mark will be awarded. Okay, so the first one, they say a payment to G. Smithson Ltd. for 3,200 on the July bank statement does not appear in Trojan's cash journal. Okay, so Trojan must be us. All right. Mrs. Rook investigated this payment and found it was not a valid payment to Trojan traders and that the bank had incorrectly debited this bank account. Reference to number 2.4 above, or ref. Okay, so what type of reconciliation difference is this? I have adjustment, I have error. Which one? This is an error. Okay, this is an error. All right. Right. We go to the next one. We have cash sales not yet deposited. All right. 31 July 2024. 14,100. Why did you say timing? Mm-hmm. But it has not yet been recorded in the bank, 100%. So this is a timing difference. Okay. But again, what did they say in the question? And guys, pay close attention to what they're actually asking in the question. They said, state in your answer booklet, right? Whether the difference is either an awareness difference or an error. So whilst you are 100% right, this is a timing difference. What we need to be writing there is awareness difference. Okay. And this is why I started off by saying we have two types of awareness differences. We have the adjustment, okay, and then we have the timing, okay. So just be mindful of that. So there, 2 free marks, okay. Then we go on to the next. It says record any differences identified in the bank reconciliation process in the supplementary cash book receipts and cash book payments, all right, and total the supplementary cash books at the month end, okay. Then next they say calculate the correct bank account balance as at 31 July 2024. Workings must be shown to be awarded the marks. Guys, we need to see those workings, eh? Yeah, please. Prepare the bank reconciliation statement at 31 July 2024. Okay, so let's look into what's happening up there and see. We're basically doing the bank recon, eh? And as you can see, remember question 1.3, I think it is? They give you text. They don't give you statements. Okay, so up top they say you have been provided with the following information from the books. Okay, we've got bank reconciliation for the month of June. Okay, right? We know we're doing the bank reconciliation for July, isn't? Okay, so here you can see we've got a favorable bank balance as per the bank statement. Okay, so this is obviously for, hey, what's happening now? This thing working. Okay. Oops. Let's do, oh, there we go. All right, so this is the bank balance at the end of June. Okay, right. And then outstanding deposits. Okay, we've got those two amounts. And then we have debit order for insurance duplicated by the bank. Okay, we know at some point we're going to need this amount, right? So we might as well calculate it now. Okay, how do we calculate it? Are we deducting this 1,400? We adding, okay? And then this 8,000 is also deposit, so we adding, right? But then what about this debit order for the insurance duplicated by the bank? What are we doing? Are we subtracting or adding? Subtracting. Are you sure? Hmm? No. I've got some saying subtracting, I've got some saying adding. Explain. Yes. Okay. What are others saying? Those who say subtract. So in the bank reconciliation to the bank statement. Yeah. So the debit order for insurance duplicated by the bank is getting charged twice at the stage. So we need to subtract that. We need to subtract that amount. If the bank, in the other class I used the example of Spotify and Apple Music. I wasn't here. So let's say you are an Apple user and you are using Apple Music, right? But you see that Spotify has charged your account. Are they going to pay you back? You see that the bank has allowed a debit order for Spotify. Well, are they going to pay you back? Are you going to request that money back? Because you don't use Spotify, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay. But now, as we highlighted earlier, you use Apple Music, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if they charge you not once but twice, for your monthly premium for Apple Music? Are they gonna give you back the money or keep that second debit order? They have to give you back your money. So here, debit order for insurance, they duplicated it. What should we do? We should add it back. Make sense? Yes. Okay. So this is also a plus. So now, duplicate. When we say duplicate, what are we saying has happened? We've been charged twice. We can even simplify this thing. We can talk about rent. If they charge you rent twice for the month of July, are you going to just leave it like that? Or are you going to tell them, I want my money back? So what should we do here? Yes, the bank made the mistake of charging you twice. Does it make sense? And we are actually in the bank record. So what is the total now that we have here? Balance as per bank account. 37,160. Are we getting something different?
Yeah, 37,250.
250. Okay. Are more people getting 250? 259. Yeah. Okay, right. Okay, cool. So we have that done and dusted. Then we go to the next one. It says, differences identified by Mrs. Rook, the accountant, when comparing the July 2024 bank statement to the July 2024 cash journals. Okay. It says, deposit 101 still does not appear in the bank statement for July 2024. They investigated this difference and could not locate a bank stamp deposit slip for this transaction. Upon further inquiries, she established that this was not a cash deposit and that the junior bookkeeper had recorded this deposit in the cash book receipts. Okay, so we're looking at the cash book receipts after receiving a telephone call from a debtor stating that they had made a direct deposit into Trojan's bank account. Okay, the money has never actually been received by Trojan traders, and Mrs. Rook will need to reverse the deposit entry. So what is happening here? Yes.
He received the deposit.
Uh-huh. Let's see. Let's scroll up. So this one here, right? So basically in our books, we have said we received 1,400. But did we actually receive it? Okay. So then what must happen? How do we rectify this? Did the bank make the mistake? We have to correct it in the cash payments journal. Okay. Right. Everybody got that? We happy? Okay. We recorded it already here. Our junior bookkeeper. Phone call with the debtor, and the debtor said, hey, I made a deposit of 1,400. And just off that phone call, the junior bookkeeper recorded in our books. In other words, in the cash receipts, because here we've got a deposit, so it's money coming in. So we recorded 1,400 just off of a telephone call. Okay. Now, to reverse that, because there has been no money that was received by the bank, all right, and also we don't have any proof, like an EFT proof of payment, where we're receiving money. So therefore, we have to remove this because it hasn't actually been received. So to reverse that, we have to obviously, okay, makes sense. Okay, so that's what we need to do there. Then we come to 2.2. Okay, it says DS 110, okay, appeared on the bank statement on 2 July 2024. So they're basically saying this appears on the bank statement. So in other words, FNB or whichever bank that we are operating with has dealt with it. We can tick it off. Okay, right? Then let's go on. Let's see. What next? The debit order duplicated by the bank of 1,499 was credited, all right, on the July 2024 bank statement. Okay, was credited. So what are they saying? When we look at our bank statement, we know we have the debit side and we have the credit side, isn't it? And on which side do we receive money? Okay, so here we receive money and here we are losing money, or money is leaving us. So they're saying this 1,499 was recorded on the credit side. Okay, and we said this money needs to be added to our account, isn't it? So has that been dealt with? Okay, so we're happy. Okay, right. So everything has been dealt with. Again, I'm going to say this again for your benefit. If there was anything, let's say there was a 5,000 here, all right, any amount, whatever. If we're not ticking it off, that means it needs to go where? The bank reconciliation for July, yes, for end of this month. Okay. To remind them again, you need to go and sort this out. Okay. Right. Right. Cool. So we've dealt with that. We're happy with that. You can cancel this out so you know in your test or exam, I don't need to revisit this. All right. I don't need to revisit that either. Okay. The first one we do need to go back to and sort out. Right. Next one. A payment from G. Smith Son Ltd. for 3,200 on the July bank statement does not appear in Trojan's cash journals. Okay. Mrs. Rook investigated this payment and found it was not a valid payment of Trojan traders and that the bank had incorrectly debited their account. What must happen with this? It must go to the bank recon, 100%. Okay. Okay. They need to pay us back our money, 3,200. Okay. Invalid. Right. Then we go to 2.5. The following entries on the July 2024 bank statement do not appear in the cash journals. Immediately when you see that, what do you need to know? Or what do you need to do? Sorry. These need to go into our books. Okay. So as the gentleman so rightly highlighted, this is either going in the cash payments or in the cash receipts. So bank charges, where's that going? CPJ. The monthly debit order for insurance. Debit order for business cell phone charges. Yeah, boo. Interest received on positive current account. Cash receipts. And then finally, direct deposit by a debtor. Cash receipts. Journal. Okay, the following transactions in the July cash journals did not appear in the July bank statement. Where are these things going? If they did not appear in the bank statement, but they appeared in our books, where are they going? Yeah, boo. This is definitely bank recon. Okay. So cash sales not yet deposited. So this is going to be a plus, isn't it? Because that's money that's coming in, isn't? All right. And then electricity and water payment. Okay. This is obviously going to be a deduction. So 3,400. Okay. Right. All right, so here we are. Number 3, it says the totals of the cash books for 31 July 2024 before any adjustments were made. Okay, so these are the totals that we are beginning with for both our relevant cash books. Okay, then here it tells us last thing, the bank statement balance at 31 July 2024 was 26,571. Is that a positive balance? Is that a favorable balance or an unfavorable balance? Okay, this is a favorable balance because remember we said the credit side is what? Where money is coming in. So if we have a credit balance on the bank statement, this is obviously favorable, isn't? Okay. Right. Awesome stuff. So now that we've read all that, we've labeled all our stuff. And where are we going to use this balance? This credit balance. Yes. Bank recon for the month of July. Okay, that's your balance as per bank statement. Right. So now let's see. Did we label everything that needed to be labeled? Why did that thing disappear now? Okay, so we said we are starting with question 2. Question 2. Okay, and question 2 was for 25 marks. Your test, by the way, is out of 50. If you look at this one, it's out of can you guys see? No. Okay, maybe let's just do this because you won't be able to see. But here you can see we did the theory question. First one was a bank error. And then the second one we said awareness difference. And then we said timing difference. Okay. Right. Okay, and then here they're just talking about the differences between timing and awareness. But yeah, I think you guys can go through that. Please make sure you go through question 1.1. Okay. If you do that, understand that, trust me, the awareness difference, adjustment difference, and so on, you should be just fine. So now here it's going to be a bit tricky for us to compare, but basically we only had one cash receipt entry, right? So we had the balance before any amendments, which they gave us in point 3. And then we had the interest received on the credit balance, which was the 210. Oh, actually it was actually 2. Then we had the direct deposit, okay? Which then gave us a new cash receipts balance of 90,610. Okay, so if you see, this is why I say if you just can label correctly where what needs to go, nobody should be losing marks on bank recon. Okay, then we go to the cash payments. It's the same thing. Total before any amendment, they gave it to us, 81,400. Okay, and then the reversal of that deposit. Remember the deposit we said we had received via telephone call. That's where that 1,400 is coming from. Then we have bank charges, okay, 499, insurance debit order, and then telephone debit order. Okay. Did you guys see telephone? I didn't see telephone.
Cell phone something.
Cell phone. Cell phone charges. Okay, I'm trusting you guys. Let's go back. Yebo. We'll come back to it. But then, yeah, so there's our new balance, all right? We now have our new balance of 87,000. So the moment we have these, guys, if you have questions, ask. We're revising. Okay. The moment we have these, we can now work out our new bank balance, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So, can you see earlier we had calculated what was the closing balance on our bank reconciliation? statement. And there you can see, those are the amounts that you were reporting. 25,460 was the opening amount. And then we added the 1,400, okay? And then we obviously added the 8,900. And then I can't remember what that 1,499 was all about. I think that was the duplicate, the duplicate payment. And that obviously gave us the bank balance that we would have in our books at the end of the month of June. Because remember, the bank reconciliation for June, the amount that we come down to, let me actually show it to you, is the balance we have in our books. Right? And we're saying, bank, if you make all these necessary amendments, let's go back here. Right, now I can scroll up. If you make all these necessary amendments, you will come to the balance that we have in our books for the month of June. Does that make sense? So we know that that is then our closing balance in our bank account in the general ledger. Okay, right. So you can see there, it's the same amount. Okay, then what was our cash receipts? There we go. We're pulling it from the previous question and our cash payments. So our bank balance for the month of July should now be this 40,471. All right. So the final step to our bank reconciliation process is that of the bank reconciliation statement. All right, for the month of July. We want to make sure that we get this 40,471. Okay. What I've seen some students do is it doesn't mathematically balance, and so they just copy the one and throw it in there. Okay. I'm not encouraging that, but I just thought it was relevant considering the context. Okay. It's the same thing with trial balance. Sometimes things are not, but they are forcing it to balance. Right. So, yeah, Bo.
Then we have to get that final amount to balance with the amount in your bank account in the general ledger. Right? When we're doing the general ledger,
We will do the bank account before we go to the bank reconciliation. Yeah. Shh, guys.
do we go back to viewing the debit side as favorable and credit is unfavorable, or do we keep it as a liability? In terms of what-
The bank account in our books is what? It's an asset. So an asset increases on the
debit side,
decreases on the.
credit side.
So from our perspective, it always is.
Okay.
Positive is the debit side, negative is the credit.
So only when we're viewing the bank statement
Yes,
is it.
yes, I was right. Because again, they're not looking at our money as their asset. It's a liability because whenever we want it, they must give it to us. They owe us.
Yep.
Okay. Right. Yeah, so we were just talking about the bank recon. Aha. Guys, you can see there's this reminder here. Remember to always show your workings. Guys, you're under pressure. You've got 1 hour. Do all these questions. You can make a mistake. It's normal to make a mistake. But if you show us these, we can then see, oh, she just pulled the wrong figure on the opening balance, but everything else was correct. But if you just give me 100,000 there in the amount, I have got no clue where this is coming from. Does that make sense? And then you get nothing, at least for that row. Yes. Because you guys are smart. I always tell you guys, I'm lecturing geniuses. I always say this. Do I not? Am I lying? Yeah, I'm not lying. I'm not lying. But these transactions, they're fewer than what you get in your exercise. So remember, guys, I always say this: you are not just trying to answer questions when you go for a test exam. You are also up against time. And this is why I was saying you must practice, practice, practice to the point where the moment you read the question, it's like you're reading the question for the second, third, fourth time. Because you're like, I already know how they're trying to trick us here. That's how you get distinctions. That's how you do well. The moment you are seeing something for the first time, yeah, you have every right to be stressed. Particularly for accounting. Okay, you should not be seeing something for the first time. Okay, so earlier we said that what? We have a favorable bank balance, all right? That's via the last piece of additional information that they gave us. So there you can see, it's a plus 26,571. Then we had the outstanding deposits, okay, the one that we hadn't yet taken to the bank. Then we had the electricity and water that you can see we're deducting the 3,400. And then we obviously had the bank error, which was now this 3,200. That I think was the unauthorized amount. Okay. So please also make sure that you clearly show whether you're adding or subtracting the amount. Okay, so we can follow your logic. And here you can see we managed to have the same balance as per our bank account in the general ledger. Okay, so all of that for 25 marks. It's easy, ne? It's easy, guys. It's easy. Okay, so maybe let's do. I see it's 141. Let's go and do that theory question here. So you guys shout out to me whether this is true or false. Okay, so the first one. And guys, I hope you're writing down because this is your ICE task number 1. So it means straight from leaving here, you just sit at your PC and you type your ICE task. Okay. False. Okay. If the total of the cash sales column in the cash book receipts is overstated, okay? So we're saying the cash sales column in the cash book receipts is overstated. The debtors control account balance must be decreased. We have false. Can you explain? Yes. Shh, guys. Say again. I didn't hear you there.
From my perspective, where I understand it, when we have the cash receipts journal, it's money coming in.
Yes.
And
Cash receipts, journal, money coming in.
we are creating it from the business perspective. And at the same time, let's say if a customer pays off probably settle their account, we would have recorded that amount in the cash receipts journal. So when we are now transferring that amount to the debtors control accounts, they should be of the same value. So if it is overstated of the cash receipts journal, it should be added to the debtors control account so that we can be of similar.
So you said a lot, ne? But I'm not sure I agree. I'm really not. Tell me something, guys. Cash sale. Debtors control, how do they work?
So the cash sales column is not going to be affected when the debtor is paying us off. Yeah. It's affected when the debtor is actually purchasing on the credit. So we already did all that inside the debtor's journal.
Do you agree with what you think? Were you saying the same thing? Because you don't know what it was.
Like, okay, yeah, you don't put it in the cash. It's supposed to record it in the debtors control column. We now will need that a customer has settled the account. So now when you're not transferring to the just control account, they just put it there.
I'll respond to you. I don't want that to steal my bank or say whatever she might want to say.
Gentlemen, what's that mean? Do you agree with what they say? You don't. So what do you think? You think it's true? Please listen. Go ahead, please.
From my understanding, cash sales
Yes. Mm-hmm.
is control, it's sales that from companies that work with.
So you're saying you agree with him then, that this is not going to affect your debtors control. All right. So the column that would have affected the debtors control is the debtors control column in the cash receipts. Okay? Because what we are saying, remember in the cash receipts, it's always about money that we are receiving. So if we have a column that says debtors control in the cash receipts journal, we're basically saying our debtors have paid us. Can you see what I wanted to respond to you? To say, if a debtor has paid us, it's going to be in the debtors control column. Cash sales means that she walked in, she bought that dress for whatever, for cash. So it will never affect the debtors, which is what you are also saying. Okay? So gentlemen, the answer is not true, it is false. But now we want to unpack why is it false. Does that make sense? Okay, so again, this speaks to, we must make sure we understand our different columns in the journals, because if we don't really know, we're just rolling the dice and taking a 50-50 on getting this true and false correct. So let's move now. Cash received from a debtor, okay? Cash received from a debtor, okay? That appears in the business's cash journals, but not yet in the bank statement, will be classified as a timing difference. True or false? True. This is true, okay? The next one. Any questions?
Each journal.
Yes.
And then a creditors.
Control.
Cash
Cash payments. 100%. Okay. A debit balance on the bank statement is a favorable balance. False. Okay. Right. Next one. If the debtors control column in the debtors journal is overcast, okay, so debtors control, all right, in what journal? In the DJ, okay, they're saying is overcast. In other words, what? It's what? It's more than what it should be. So if it is supposed to be 5,000, it's currently what? Yeah, let's call it 6,000. Okay? It's more than what it should be. Right? Now, what are they saying? The amount posted to the debtor's control account must be increased. So basically, there's a difference of 1,000 here, isn't it? Right? It's more than what it should be. It should actually do what? We should decrease it, okay? Because they actually owe us less than what we've. So this is false. We're happy. An EFT payment duplicated in the cash book payments must be adjusted in the cash book receipts. Everybody agree?
Yeah.
It is true. Right. Okay. So let's take our 10-minute break. And then if we can just begin at 2.